sitting, and you can sit really any way that you like and just give yourself a little bit of a wobble to find your base. And then once you find your base from side to side, let's also tilt a little. You can put your hands on the top of the pelvis, tilt a little forward and back like you would do in cat cow. And hopefully you'll be able to feel the sitting bones, also known as the ischial tuberosities, those little bony bits at the bottom of the pelvis. And the next time you go just a teensy bit forward of the edge, pause there and imagine that you could grow roots down deep, right there. Yeah. And as the roots grow deep, let's add on by lifting up through the arms. So as much as you're lifting up through the arms, you're going down through the sitting bones. And see if you can maintain this length, this nice, beautiful lift as we release the arms down, but we stay really lifted and alert through the torso. And let the eyes close, let the muscles in your face relax. So let your face be in Shavasana, but everything else is awake and alert and alive. And we'll just take a few easy breaths. And get a sense for how your body is feeling today, how your breath is moving today. Just your overall level of energy. And whatever that might be, let's honor it for what it is. And we'll take one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly. Maybe it's your full belly. And as you take a few breaths here, just feel that little rise and fall. And as we start to notice the breath and pay attention to the breath, you might find that the breath naturally begins to slow down a little bit. Whatever pace your breath seems to be at the moment. The next time you exhale, let your spine round in, let your head drop down. You can blink the eyes open here. And as the inhale happens, let's go the other direction and let the hands separate away from the body. And as we exhale again, bring them in the same way or a different way, up to you. And then on the inhale, we'll open and grow. So let's take that a few more times. The exhale, we close, curl it in. And the inhale, we expand and grow open. So as if your whole body here, we're taking a breath, at least the upper body. Yeah. And we can change this movement pattern a little bit here. So the next time you inhale, let's take the arms just straight up. And then on the exhale, turn open to the right. Let the arms separate and come down. And then on the next inhale, we'll return to center. And on the exhale, we go the other side, out and down. So let's continue a few more rounds. Inhaling up and exhaling side. Yeah, can you take the whole amount of breath to complete your movement? And we're going to change it one more time here. So the next time you're in this open, twisted position, let's pause. And whatever arm is in front, take it to the opposite leg knee. And you'll press the back hand down into the floor. Turn your face to look forward and reach the back arm. Reach it up first and then over. So you're a little bit on the diagonal here. Yeah, and then just a small subtle movement. On the inhale, turn a little more towards the ceiling. And this is subtle, it's not too big. And then on the exhale, turn a little towards the floor. Just do that one a few times. Yeah. And then the next time we come up, Let's pause. Take the arm back down to the floor. Lift the front arm up. And then we'll sort of windmill around to come to the other side. So whatever is your second side, press the back hand into the floor, sit up nice and tall. And then we'll turn your face to look forward, and whatever arm is in back first, just reach it up. And then on the exhale, we'll come over a little side bend. Inhale, we turn a little towards the ceiling. And then exhale, we turn a little towards the floor. So stay on this side. We'll complete a few more rounds. Yeah. And then the next time we come up, we'll release that coming out of the position. Let's stretch the legs out long in front of you for a second and just move a little bit, the feet, the ankles, the toes. Yeah. Alrighty. And then we'll turn over and we'll meet in the all fours position. Of course, feel free to put any extra padding under the knees if your floor is kind of hard. And as you start to settle here, whatever's touching the floor, give it a good press down. Yeah. Let's inhale. And on the exhale again, press down as you round the back into your cat pose. And then use the whole amount of inhale to let the chest drop and pull forward into your cow pose. So the exhale, we press into the floor and round. And the inhale, we sink down and pull forward. Just a few more of those. Let yourself really indulge into the movement here. Yeah, now option to just stick with this, or you could make it a little bit larger. Some of you will make it, I'll show you in a second. Yeah, if you have a full belly though, it might not feel so good. So the inhale, we pull forward. And then on the exhale, round into cat and press back either all the way to child's pose or partially. You can bend the elbows here. And on the inhale, try to pull the mat back with your arms. We shift forward, re-lengthen the arms. And then the exhale, we round and go back. And the inhale, we bend and pull forward, re-straighten the arms. And take that a few more times. So it's sort of a circular-like pattern. And whatever you choose to do, if you do the full one like I'm doing, or if you just do a partial, I'll demonstrate that. Whatever's going on, let it coordinate with the breath, fully and completely. Yeah. And then we'll meet the next time you go back to child's pose. Feel free to widen the knees here as much as you like. And then walk both arms a little bit to the right and make some space between the left hip and the left hand, just to create a little extra pull there. All right, friends, and then we'll change, walking both arms a little bit over to the left and make some space between the right hand and the right hip, just a little extra pull right in there. That's it. And then we'll return to center here. Let's come back to all fours for a second and take the knees so they're not quite as wide. And then we'll press back into child's pose. On the next inhale, rise up onto the shins, lift the arms overhead. Stay up here, and on the exhale, turn one side, let the arms open and come down. Then on the inhale, we'll come back up to center. Exhale, the second side, turn open and release down. So let's take that a few more times, very similar to what we were doing sitting earlier. Yes, friends, let's pause next time we're up in the center. And then we'll come down, hands to the floor. Tuck the toes under. Let's head into down dog. And if you want to do just sort of like a partial dog, not go all the way back, that's fine. I'll recommend taking the feet a little bit wider than you normally go, whatever version you want to do. And then some of you will go straighter in the legs. Some of you will keep the knees bent. Some of you might want to add in a little shift, a little pedal back and forth. Anything like that is fine. Yeah. All right. And then from here, let's bend both knees and walk your arms back, hands towards the back of the mat. And just prop up. Rest for a second with the forearms on the thighs. Take a moment to move the fingers, the wrists, and if it feels good to move the hips around, you can take a little side to side or a little figure eight, anything like that. Sometimes less is more, sometimes more is more. And then from here, let the movement settle. Press down into the heels, and on the inhale, we'll rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, the arms come down. Let's keep your wide stance in the legs and take your hands once again. One hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Maybe close the eyes. Take a tiny little bend in the knees and just feel. Feel your body, feel your breath. And just like we did sitting, on an exhale, let the knees bend a little more, let the back round a little more. You can blink the eyes open. And then on an inhale, straighten the legs, let the arms separate away from the body. Exhale, we'll curl back in. You choose where you put the hands. And then inhale, we expand and grow. So take that a few more times as if your whole body were part of this breath experience. Yeah. And then we'll change the pattern a little bit here. So the next inhale, let's open wide, kind of like the letter X. And then on the exhale, bend the knees, bend the elbows, bring the hips back. So it's a chair pose with wide legs. Inhale, we stretch it up. And exhale, we come back down. Let's do that one a few more times. All right, friends, let's complete the round you're on. And the next time you come down, let's take forearms onto the thighs. We're in this sort of high squat variation. Move the chest a little bit forward. And the next time you inhale, turn to one side and let the arm open. And on the exhale, we come back down. Inhale, we turn to the other side, let the other arm open. And exhale, we come back. Take that a few more times, going at whatever pace is your breath for the moment. All right, friends, when you're ready to come up again, let's inhale to rise. And exhale, just lower the arms. Nice work. Let's come to the front of the mat here. You might want blocks for the next little bit, so you can have them handy. And we'll start at the top of the mat and we'll be coming down into lunge with the knee down. If you need any sort of padding for that, you can have it ready. Inhale, up we come. Take the whole exhale to come down into forward fold. And then the inhale is our halfway lift. Let's do a few of these. So on the exhale, come down, bend the knees. And then on the inhale, re-lengthen. If this would feel better with a little bit wider stance, feel free to do so. And some of you also, it might feel better if you don't let the head drop all the way, so you can just do sort of a partial, keeping the gaze forward instead of down. Yeah. All right, let's pause. And then the next time you come down, we'll step the right leg back into lunge. Take your time to settle, releasing the knee down to the floor. I always like blocks here, optional. Back toes could be tucked under or you could have them straight. It's up to you. So at first, this movement will really just be with the spine, and then we'll add in the legs. On the inhale, can you draw the chest forward and the pelvis back, lifting the chest a little? And then on the exhale, don't really round the back, just back off slightly from that position. So do a few more. Inhale, we create length. And exhale, we back off. Now, if you're finding that you would want more spinal articulation here, sometimes going higher on the hands, a higher block setup could work for you. So take that if you need. Yeah. Right. So let's add on here. The inhale again, we reach forward through the chest. And now on the exhale, shift the hips back, but not far, just a little bit. Inhale, we'll rebend the front knee, lengthen the chest forward. And then exhale, go back this time, maybe a little bit more. So take that a few more times. The inhale is a forward, and the exhale is a back. Yeah, a couple more. Now, at this point, some of you might be having the front leg go all the way straight. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, good. Let's take one more round forward, one more round back. And then the next time we come forward, stay there. Walk the left foot a little wider and bring the arms, both arms to the inside, on blocks or not on blocks. And then we'll shift a little to the left, and on the inhale, we come forward. On the exhale, we go a little to the right and a little back. So inhale to the left and forward. Exhale to the right and back. Take that a few times. So it's a pretty small movement, and because we're matching it with the breath, it'll likely be pretty slow. Let it be really nice and slow. Alrighty, friends, let's pause here the next time the front knee is bent. And then swing the left leg out to the side and back down, just coming to our all fours position here. You can move the blocks out of the way. Let's go a little bit wider in the knees. Come back into child's pose and take your spider finger hands just for a second. Maybe add in a little wobble here if you like that. All right, and then we'll do another round of that circular cat-cow or just regular cat-cow if you prefer. So reset your knees so they're not quite as wide. On the inhale, we pull forward into our cow. And then on the exhale, we'll round from cat pose into child's pose. Taking a few more of those. Inhale forward and lift. Exhale, round and take it back. Let's take just a few more. Going at whatever is your pace. It's probably a little different than mine. All right, yogis. The next time we shift back, don't go all the way back, just go partial here. Let's tuck the toes under. Lift the knees up and back, downward facing dog, or again, you can do that sort of partial down dog if that feels better. And then when you're ready here, we'll come to the front of the mat. Just a half lift as a transition. And then on the way down here, let's step the left leg back, maybe you're on the blocks. Knee comes down to the floor. Take a second just to arrive. And then we'll begin the first part just with the spinal movement. So the inhale, we come forward and lift with the chest. And then the exhale, just back off a little. We could really round, but we're not going to. Inhale, we lengthen and lift. And then exhale, we back it off. Take that a few more times. Yeah. So we're going to do this gradually. On the exhales, let the hips start to shift back, but at first just a little. And then on the inhale, we shift forward and lift. Yeah, so every time you exhale, go a little bit further back. And know that we'll be doing this for a while, so it's a very gradual process. Yeah, at this point, maybe you've got a straight front leg, maybe you don't. Can you still coordinate it fully and completely with your breath, whatever that means to you? Yeah. Let's take one more round forward, one more round back, and then the next time we come forward, we'll pause. Walk the right foot a little wider, bring the arms to the inside. And now on the inhale, we'll go to the right and forward. On the exhale, we go to the left and back. Let's do that a few times. All right, friends, let's pause here. And then when you're ready to get out, we'll just slide the right knee back next to the left. I'm going to stay on blocks here, but go down a notch. You're welcome to do that as well, or to get rid of them entirely. So I'll talk you through the pattern here. Inhale, we come into our all fours, moving the chest forward, kind of cow. And then on the exhale, we'll shift back to child's pose. So the inhale, we come again to all fours. You choose, you can go to child's pose this time or downward facing dog. And then we'll alternate between the two. So the inhale is all fours. The exhale is either child's pose or dog. Inhale is all fours. And then the exhale back again to whatever you're doing. Yeah, so just take a few more of those. Yeah. And then the next time we end up in child's pose, let's stay there. And if you have the blocks, you can set them up in such a way that the wrists are right at the edge of the blocks and the fingers can kind of dangle over. I'm actually going to go on the medium height for this. Yeah. And then you can kind of wiggle the hips back and give little traction through the shoulders and the spine. Let's take a moment here to connect again to your body, to your breath. And when you're ready to get out of this, we'll come back up to stand. You could go via down dog or just get up there. No big deal. Yeah. Let's use the inhale though to rise. And the exhale to release the arms. So instead of being on the belly for today, let's just do a standing version of our quad stretch. So you can stand next to a wall if you need it or a piece of furniture. We'll bend a knee, just pick a side, and then we'll hold that. And a few things to notice. Sometimes if the quads are tight, the knee wants to go sideways. If that's happening, use the inner thigh to pull it in a little bit. And also use the inner thigh to draw back a little bit. And then you can counter that by lifting up through the lowest part of the belly. Yeah. And we'll just hold this for a second. There's another pose called dancer where we take the leg further back, but for now we'll just stay here. Yeah. All right. And let's let that go and change to side two. So whatever's your second leg, you can pick up, hold on to the ankle there. And notice again, if the knee is wandering to the side, can you use the inner thigh to hug it in and also the inner thigh to draw back. Counter that by lifting a little bit through the lowest part of the belly. Yeah. All right. And then from here, friends, we'll release that. Let's come again to the front of the mat, and you'll likely want blocks for this part, so just have them handy, one on each side. Hands will be on the hips, and we'll stretch the right leg back with the heel down on the floor. And let's set up with enough width as if you were standing on each leg in its own train track rather than on a tightrope. Now, as you're in this position, press the right heel firmly down into the floor. And as you press it down, think of lifting up through the low belly. So we've got down in the back, up in the front. And then release that and go one more time. So down in the back, up in the front, up through both arms. Let's inhale. Use the whole amount of your exhale to bend the front knee, cactus the arms, hinge your torso forward. Inhale, we rise up again. And here we go a couple more times. Exhale to hinge. And inhale to lift. Nice job, guys. Let's pause here. The next time you're in the hinged position, just pause for a second. Can you keep the upper back engaged? And then let the arms come down, probably onto the blocks. And if you feel like you need a little more room for the belly, you can walk the front foot a little wider and bring the arms to the inside. Or if you just want to try that anyway, you can. I'm going to do that version here. So we'll keep the front knee a little bit bent. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, push the left heel down and forward, go a little straighter in the leg. Do that a few more times. So the inhale, we bend and shift forward. And then the exhale, we go straighter and back. So taking that a few more times, still working with the breath. Good. Now we'll change our pattern a little bit. Let's pause the next time the front leg is straight, or your version of straight. And now on the inhale, move the pelvis back and the chest forward. And then on the exhale, create a little lift through the belly as you fold over. So a couple times more like that. The inhale, we create length. And then the exhale, we lift the belly and maybe fold a little lower, a little deeper. Yeah, just a few more rounds. Good. All right, friends, let's pause here. Come back up into the flat back position or that half lift. Let's take the left hand to the left hip. Now this one will be a few twists, but we're just gonna go small with it, so you should be fine. So on the inhale, we'll lengthen like we've been doing, and then use the exhale to turn the chest to the left. Yeah, and that's as far as we'll go. Inhale to undo, find the length, and then exhale again, we turn the chest to the left. Let's do that one more time. Good. And then down comes the arm, release the arm down. If you're in this wide position like I am, you'll step the back foot forward outside of the blocks. If you're in this one, step it inside of the blocks. Yeah, so just come forward, root down through the feet. Use the inhale to lift and the exhale to bring the arms down. All right, guys, so let's do the same exact thing on side two. Hands start on the hips. Left leg reaches back, heel on the floor, each leg in its own track. And then feel the difference here between just standing, hanging out, and then pressing the back heel down, and at the same time lifting up through the front of the body. Yeah, and then don't do. And go again. Press down in the back, lift up in the front. Keep that, lift up through both arms. Inhale. Use the whole exhale to bend and hinge forward, and the whole inhale to rise, coming up once again. Let's take that a couple more times. So the exhale, we hinge, and the inhale, we lift. Nice job, guys. So let's meet the next time we're in the hinged position. Yeah. You got it. Front knee stays bent, arms release down. You could stay one hand on each side of the front foot, or you could scooch the right foot a little wider and bring the arms to the inside. It's totally your call. So we'll stay here. Inhale to lengthen. And then on the exhale, press into the right heel and let the right leg go straighter as the pelvis shifts back. Do that a few more times. So the inhale, we bend, shift a little forward. And the exhale, we lengthen, shift a little back. Couple more times, just like that. Yeah. And then we'll change our pattern here. So let's pause with the front leg, your version of straight. Inhale, we lengthen like we have been. And then on the exhale, lift up through the belly and let yourself fold. That one a few times. The front leg stays straight. All right, friends, let's meet the next time you're in that half lift, flat back position. Pick up the right hand, put it on the hip. Inhale, we lengthen. You can also draw the right hip back. And then on the exhale, turn the chest to the right, but it's pretty medium. We won't go too far. Inhale to undo. And exhale, go again, same exact thing. Let's do that a few more times. All right. And then we'll undo, release the arm. We'll step the back foot forward either in the wide position or the narrow. Root down to rise up. And exhale, release the arms. Let's take another round of these. One hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Just take a moment to pause and notice and breathe. And then on an exhale here, let's bend the knees, let the back round a little, let the eyes blink open. Inhale, we'll grow tall, let the arms move away from the body. And then exhale, we'll come in again. Yeah, so we've been here before. Let's take a few more rounds. And then we'll spice it up just a little bit here. So the next time you inhale, make it a little different. Maybe you take a twist or change something, yeah? And then we come back into the same position. And every time we inhale and open, we just make it a little different. Yeah. And you can follow me if you want, or you can make up your own. You could do some side bends, some twists. If you want to try a little bit of a balance here, when you come back out, you can take a leg off the floor, maybe. Let it be all about the breath, as if your whole body were taking this breath. The body is an expression of the breath. Yeah. Just take a few more. All right, friends, when you're ready to conclude this one, take a slightly wider stance. Let's rest the forearms on the thighs. Just pause here. You can be still, you can move, take a little side to side or a little figure eight. Anything you like there is fine. Yeah. All right, so let's root down through the legs. Bring yourself up once again just to come up. And then we'll take the arms down and we'll come back down again to sit on the floor. We'll take a little bit of an inner thigh stretch and then we'll do our kind of some restorative breath work. So I'll mirror you here. You can take the right leg out straight and the left knee bent. Do feel free to sit on something if you need to. Press down into the floor and see if you can grow long through the spine. Yeah, and do that a few times. So the exhale, just back off a little. And then on the inhale, we press and lengthen. Yeah. So the next time we press and lengthen, try to push the floor back as the torso angles forward. And then we back it off. Do that one again. Now that might be a great place to stay, or maybe you want to take the arms forward. Every time you inhale, little length. And then every time we exhale, back off slightly. Some of you might start heading a little more forward, a little more down. And some of you won't. You'll be happier being more upright. So do whatever your body is asking for today. And then if you have come down, of course, continue the breath work, but maybe don't move quite so much with every breath. Let it just be a tiny mini version. Yeah. And then from here, friends, let's crawl the arms back in. Change the legs. So we'll pull the right leg in and take the left leg out. Sorry, just moving some stuff. Yeah. And then from here, we'll start the same. We'll go gradually. Inhale, press down to lift up. And then exhale just to back off a bit. Do that one again. Yeah. And then we'll continue this time pressing a little back to hinge forward. Now this happens to be my tighter side. So I'm not going to go quite as far. You might find the same, or you might find the opposite, or maybe you're one of the lucky ones and both legs feel pretty even. Let the breath be your guide. Whether it's a good idea to move forward or not. All right, friends. When you're ready to come back up again, take your time to get there. And then it might feel good after that just to stretch the legs out straight in front of you and maybe give them a little wiggle, a little jiggle. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to show you how to set this next one up. And part of it really just depends on what props you have. Obviously, I've got the towels here because my blankets are somewhere else. So you can, pretend this is how the blanket comes just, off the shelf. And then you'll fold it in half hot dog style, just like so. And then we'll do a second one the same way. Now, if your blankets are bigger, you could fold it into thirds if that would work better. So I'm going to have one on the bottom and then one on the top. And the one on the top, I'm going to make a little stair step so they're not flush. There's a little space. And then I'm also going to take the one at the top and fold it under at the top so it makes a little extra lift. And that's going to be either for your head or for the top of the neck, just depending. For the legs, my favorite way to do this is with two blocks, and I'll show, but you might find a better way for yourself. So you'll sit right on the floor in front of the lower blanket, and then you'll come back, and we want the little stair step to support the curves of your lumbar spine. We don't want them to dig into the lumbar spine or to force extra arch. So you might need to finagle with that a little bit just to get it so it feels good. And then with the legs, my favorite way to go is diagonal blocks into a Baddha Konasana. So the blocks will support my upper leg and lower leg. If you like this position but don't like the block setup, you could do blocks low, you could do blocks high, medium, in any position that works. And if you don't like the leg shape at all, of course, you're welcome to just have the legs forward or bent or with a bolster or something underneath. Yeah. So this is our basic shape. And as we settle in, we'll do a little bit of breath work here. So at first, just take a moment to land and get a sense of how your body is draping over the props. Get an overall sense of your breath without trying to direct it. Just notice where you're getting movement. For some of us, that'll be mostly in the belly. Some of us, it'll be mostly in the chest. You might get a little combination, or you might also get some in the middle, kind of on the sides. Now, if it's convenient and easy to do, let the hands just gently rest on the belly below the navel. And as we take the next few breaths, see if you can direct your breath low down in such a way that you feel the belly rise and fall underneath your hands. And if you're not able to have that happen, completely okay. Just keep your awareness here in the low belly as you breathe. For everybody, when you breathe in this way, just notice your overall sense. Notice the thoughts moving in your head, your level of energy, your level of alertness, and the length of your breath. You don't have to count it, just get a sense. Does it feel longer than usual, shorter than usual? And we'll come back to the belly in a moment. Slide the hands up a little higher so they're resting on the sides of the lower ribs. And now on the next few breath cycles, as you inhale, think of expanding out on the sides. And then as you exhale, let that condense in towards the center. And some of us find breathing into the sides a little unusual, sometimes a little challenging. Notice your overall state of being, your thoughts, your level of energy, alertness, the general length of the breath. Is it shorter or longer than when you're breathing in the belly? Maybe it's the same. And we'll explore one more spot, and we won't stay here for too long. Let's just use one hand straight around the collarbones. And under the collarbones are the first and the second rib. And as you breathe up here, right underneath your hand, just notice that. Some of us breathe here all of the time. And some of us breathe here when there's an emergency or a stressful situation. When we breathe up high like this, it turns on the fight or flight response. Sometimes you might feel more alertness, maybe even a little anxiety, which is okay in an emergency. But we don't want to be there all the time. So let's let this one go. And then let the hands rest wherever they want to be, on the body again or just on the floor. And we'll get back once again to the belly. So as you inhale, let the low belly expand. And then when you're full, don't really hold the breath, but just suspend. A little pause at the top. And on the exhale, you let it all go. So do that a few times. Inhale, let the belly expand. Little pause. And then let it go. And take it one more time, just the belly. And then we'll take it again with an add-on. So we'll inhale, expanding the belly. Little pause. And then inhale some more into the side ribs. And on the exhale, we'll let them both go, let it all go, let it all out. And we'll take it again. Inhale, expand the belly. Little pause, and then expand through the side ribs. Little pause, and then release, let it all go. And last time like that, in the belly, in the side ribs. Exhale to let it go. And then we'll add this last little bit. So inhale the belly. Inhale the side ribs. And then this last one, just a last little sip at the very top. Exhale, let it all go. And go again in the belly. In the ribs. A little sip at the top. And let it all go. And take one more time on your own. And after you've completed the next exhale, just breathe in a natural way. You might notice you're breathing differently than when you were before we did the exercise. Just notice the quality of your mind, your level of alertness, level of energy. And when you're ready to shift, if you do have the knees wide, let's return the legs back to center. Move the blocks out of the way. And then maybe give the arms a little stretch, maybe take a little wobble. We're about to come off of our little setup here. So just keep in mind you're a little higher than usual as we gently roll to one side. You can pull the props out and just put them to the side and then return to lay down. We'll just take a few last things to finish up here. Let's put the left leg long on the floor and bring the right knee in. And just give yourself a gentle little squeeze. Maybe take a little rock from side to side. And then if it's a good idea to take a twist, you can bring the right leg over to the left. If that's not a great idea, you'll just stay right where you are. And from here, friends, we'll return to center. Changing sides, take the left leg in and the right leg long. Just give yourself a little squeeze, maybe a little rock, a little movement. And then if you are taking a twist at this point, the left leg will come over towards the right side. Any amount is fine. And then we'll return back to center. Let's take both knees in towards the chest. Just give yourself a little movement here, a little side to side, or maybe little circles. And then for me, it feels better to just stay into this tight little ball. You might like more of a happy baby where the feet come up and you go a little wider in your leg position. Take anything else that you need here, movement-wise, to feel complete. When you're ready, friends, to head into Shavasana, that's where we'll end up next. So coming into your most comfortable position. Now, one option here, if you have the blocks in your blanket stack, you could try this, make a little homemade bolster. That might feel good, letting the legs just rest over the setup. Of course, anything else is fine too, so just take what you like. Yeah. And one more time. Return to your breath. And for the next few breath cycles, on the exhales, imagine that your body could become a little heavier. And also imagine that the body, the back of the body, could become a little wider on the exhales. A little heavier, a little wider. Taking up a little bit more space. And every time you exhale, just ask yourself to relax a little bit more. In particular, can you relax all around the eyes, all around the mouth, the jaw, And the place right behind your ears. Imagine the inner ear canal opening a little more. You might even feel the hollow space under your cheekbones. Now bring your attention to the inhales. Every time you inhale, think of breathing outward into your skin. It might feel right to just create a little opening through the fingers, through the toes. Yeah. Or maybe on an inhale, the arms reach out away from the body or up by your head. Just begin to add in any sort of movement as we come out of Shavasana. You can let the knees bend and very gently roll to one side. And then from your side, take your time. We'll meet up again, sitting. Hands right at heart center. Let's actually change one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. So for one more moment, feeling this movement of the breath, honoring our own body, everything that it's able to do. Thank yourself for being here. Namaste.